Hi everybody, Mark Michaels here, joined here today with Mr. Jay Winborn, the Executive Director of the National Cutting Horse Association. Jay, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so this is your second Futurity, coming in as Executive Director, and we just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, what's going on here, what's happening with NCHA, and we thought we'd sit down with you. How are things different this year, post-COVID now?
Well, one, we don't have masks, and we're not under some of the restrictions we were last year. Obviously, last year was a huge challenge for us and for everybody. But, we also, last year overall, COVID was not necessarily a bad thing for our industry. The shutdowns that happened at the beginning of the year, I think, inspired a lot of people to get really active the second half of the year, and that translated to the success of the Futurity we did have last year. Obviously, the horse market is huge right now. People are back, and they are really going right now, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of buzz right now. Obviously, new sponsors coming in. Yellowstone coming in a big way, Teton Ridge. You've got several other new corporate sponsors as well. And then seeing NCHA's commercial on Yellowstone, and all those people watching all around the world, basically. What was behind that? How did that come about?
There's no denying the effect Yellowstone has had on our industry. It has been a positive thing overall. We've seen a lot of excitement develop around just the Western lifestyle in general since the popularity of Yellowstone has risen. And I felt, as far as the commercial was concerned, why not promote what we have? We have a brand here, and we promote a lifestyle. And I think a lot of the fans of that show that may not have had exposure to this are looking for that. And it's evident by kind of what's going on in retail sales and the migration of people out of major metro areas into more rural America. The political climate plays into that a little bit. The world is changing, and I think there's kind of a dichotomy of a group of people that are kind of wanting to go closer to more core values, and we represent that lifestyle, and it's an important thing that we hold dear to ourselves, and plus what we have is fantastic. There's nothing else like it, and we need to promote that. That is who we are and what we are, and something we should be very proud of.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, there is a big interest from the public in the cowboy way of life, and obviously we're living it here, and we've got a sport that exposes, the best of the best. And so it's great to see that being able to be tied in with a TV show that's just getting unreal ratings right now and really growing, and it's helping us. It's a domino effect.
I think the last episode that aired a week ago Sunday, there was a huge cutting scene involved in it, yeah. And that kind of exposure we've been looking for a long time. And it is a TV show. It is a fantasy world, but yeah. What was represented on screen was real as far as those horses working and how we cut. Yeah. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to expand on that and draw attention to ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and that all leads in, we're seeing lots of new things happening with NCHA now, and you recently just launched a brand new website. Tell us about the new website. What are some of the goals?
So it was a soft launch, and I will tell you first and foremost, when I first came on board here, for an extended period of time, I always had trouble myself navigating that site, so I only could imagine what it was like for our members. Is it perfect yet? No, it's not, but we are working every day, and little tweaks have been made over the past week or so to kind of bring that closer and closer of what its final iteration will be. It's a lot cleaner, a lot less cluttered as far as finding information. I understand it will take some people some time to kind of figure out the navigation on it, but I also think the navigation itself is easier to find than where it was at. It was something we needed to do for a very long time.
Yeah, it looks like it's more geared towards the first-time visitor, being able to kind of navigate their way around. And obviously, cutters are creatures of habit.
Right.
And so, it's going to take them a little bit to figure it out. But I think, once they dive into it, obviously it's a little bit scary changing something like that a week before the Futurity. You kind of had a few people worried about it. But, it's worked out, and so far so good. And I think it's just a matter of time before people figure out where everything is. And and go from there.
And like I say, if there's people out there that are listening that are having trouble finding stuff on the website, please just call the office.
Yeah, okay. Well, some other new things here, not new for this show, but the last show, the side gate, huge, I don't know what to call it, but it's just been a huge improvement for the whole flow of the show.
So this plays into one of our initiatives to really tighten up the scheduling. We all know what a challenge this past year has brought with the scheduling, and I've talked about this hundreds of times, and I don't want to limit entries. We have one great pin to work in, and until we get to a point where we're accepting of working in 2 pins, I have to run all my classes in this pin. Secondly, is I'm bookended for every show I have here. We had a roping that ended at midnight on Sunday night before we got the building on Monday, and then had to have horses in the pen on Wednesday, so our turnaround is super quick. So there was not a lot I could do on the front end to add days. Similar situation on the back end. There's a USEF jumping coming in that Sunday after we're done to set up to begin a midweek competition. I have a block of time that I have available to use, and through that we started looking for ways to try and move the classes faster. Obviously the egress and ingress from the back gate took some time, opening that side ramp up, and it was discovered almost by accident, but that was a ramp that had been installed in the 50s to bring elephants in for the circus.
Yeah.
And we will, and I want everybody to understand, that will be up until the beginning of the semis that ramp will be open and utilized. Once we start the semifinals, we will shut that down and we'll go back to the old way, and our schedule will be fairly compatible for the rest of the show for that. But this does help us kind of move that time along, get people in and out. It also doesn't confine you to being in that loping pen if you're first out in the set to sit through the whole thing before you can get out of there. So we want to make it easier on people so they can get in, get their horse shown, get out, and go to dinner and do whatever they want to do. The other thing too, we've set up and had heard a lot of feedback all last year on the pre-settle. There's been a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of conversation on that, but we feel we have put together a pre-settle process that will work for us for this show. I've seen some results this morning. I just left, watched one of the settlers, and we were out of the herd in 26 minutes, and the judges were in the box. First couple of sets took a little longer, but I think it's just going to take a little getting used to. Once we kind of hit our stride, we're hoping to move that along. 7 set days, you save 10 minutes a day. That's an hour plus that you shave off a day. So it's those little things like that where we're picking up minutes to try and better our schedule.
Yeah, and how is the pre-settling structured here?
So what the way that works is we are technically 3 sets ahead with what's in the settle pen. There's a set in the arena that is being settled. We have a set in the alley that is ready to go in after that, and then the set after that is the pre-settled set.
Yeah. Okay, and you've got somebody back there riding through them?
I do. Yeah, we've hired a guy full-time to manage the cattle back there, and he's working with our cowboys in the back to kind of do all the scheduling and moving of cattle.
Yeah, okay. Well, and this show, I mean, there is no real downtime during this show. I mean, it's pretty full on with between, the World Finals starting up later in the show. We have the Western Bloodstock sales and celebrity cuttings. I mean, there's a lot going on.
A lot of activity added this year to our show schedule, as well as the fact that some of the things that we've done with our competition classes this past year has added more entries as well. So we are very thankful for the amount of entries we have, and we want, and everybody I think wants these shows to be big. Yes, I would love to be done at 6 o'clock every day, but it's not possible right now. Next year we're looking at some potential changes, and I'll talk to you in my next conversation about some of those things. Yeah. But this is a good thing. Yeah. We are successful. Long days equate to success, and I know it's hard. It's hard on the exhibitors. It's hard on the staff that works here. It's hard on the spectators that are wanting to come to watch their horses, because some of them don't go till late in the evening. but it's all part of what we do. And I assure you, my staff and myself are doing everything we can to get this kind of squeezed down to be more compatible. And as I mentioned, I think after next year we will probably be looking at some different measures. I don't want anybody to jump ahead of thinking of what that will be. It's not going to be bad. It's all good.
Right.
But we are going to put some measures in place that are going to help make our schedule a little more compatible. Biggest thing I've heard for this year was the concern over Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And I, like everybody else, I have a family I want to spend time with, but I will be here Thanksgiving Day. And this is my family, as it is yours and everybody else's. Horsemen for Christ is hosting a luncheon. The NCHA has stepped in and decided to be a part of that as well. It will be from 11:30 to 2 on Thanksgiving Day, and I encourage everybody to please come over. It will be a great time. We'll all be together, and we're doing what we love to do.
Right.
And let's give thanks for that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's all part of the show. I mean, you're trying to cut down on the long days, and you got to fit them in somewhere. And Thanksgiving Day was traditionally a 3-set day,
right,
and gone, and obviously now we've got to kind of give and take a little bit there.
We've bumped up quite a bit from 3 sets.
Yeah, for sure. So we're off to a great start here at the Futurity. Austin Shepherd, there was a lot of anticipation with him with that $1 million horse that went through the Western Bloodstock sale last year, and he put down a 222 and didn't disappoint. Looks like everything else is running smoothly.
We were all
so
sitting
far
on pins and needles when he rode into the pin this morning because, that's obviously when you spend that kind of money on a horse, those expectations are there, and there's no better person than Austin to kind of make that happen. Obviously, he along with several of our very talented trainers. We've got several $1 million horses showing in this deal, and I've had, on a side note, I've been working with Visit Fort Worth, who has actually stepped up their involvement with the NCHA this year for whatever reason. I think it's partially the Yellowstone effect,
Sure.
but I also think we have a little better rapport with the city now than we did in the past, and in talking to them, I mean, the horses that are coming here, you have horses that are selling for over $1 million. I mean, those are Kentucky Derby prices. And the fact that the NCHA pays out over $35 million in prize money each year, that's more than the Triple Crown pays.
Yeah.
And I go back to, this is just another thing that we need to highlight and talk about, and the magnitude that this sport has and what we bring to this city when we come here.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely growing in all aspects. And, one of those things like I just mentioned earlier, Teton Ridge has come on this year as a sponsor for the World Finals. Can you tell us a bit about that?
We began talks, I think, in late June about them being a part of the World Finals and put that deal together. Very excited to have the Teton Ridge group being a part of the NCHA. Obviously, they have come into the Western performance horse industry by storm. I think it's a natural fit with them. We're looking to hopefully expand that relationship as we move along. I think with the things that Teton Ridge have going on and what Thomas Toll is working on the outside, cutting is a absolute natural fit for him, and he seems to share the excitement with what we have going on as well. There's a lot of things that are in discussion right now and a lot of things happening in the background, but it will be good for cutting.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, it's all exciting news, and we want to thank you for stopping by today, and
thank you.
Look forward to seing how the show all plays out.
Do want to remind people a couple things too. There is an extra day of horse sale here this year.
Yep.
We have the Center Ranch dispersal sale that Western Bloodstock is producing. In addition, the celebrity cutting that's put on by Futurity, I expect that to be a really fun and exciting event. The Wednesday, December 8th at River Ranch, our foundation is hosting a select heifer sale, and it's 6 of the heritage ranches around the country that have donated heifers for that. That will be also a really fun event to attend. And once again, please come out and join us for Thanksgiving.
Yep. All right. Well, for more information, you go to nchacutting.com. Tune into CHC Live Scoring. Keep up with all the action here from Fort Worth. Jay, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.